First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes held from May 7th.
I make a motion we approve those minutes.
Motion made, do we get a second? Second by Dave, all in favor? Next one is to award the Spirit of America Award, number 2.
And you have that right there, sir. And we'll just do it like we do at the town meeting. If you want to read it aloud, and I'm going to get some pictures with, if you two would like to just kind of get up here, and Mike, if you want to do the official handing off. And
yeah, there you go. Spirit of America Award, be known to all. In the year 2020, Oakland Town Council, under the authority bestowed on the citizens of Oakland, Maine, hereby proclaim that June 9th, municipal resolution expresses the gratitude and honoring the Kingdom Life Church for their unwavering service and volunteerism to the town of Oakland and its citizens. Thank you. Thank you. 2020 Maine Spirit of America Foundation honors the Kingdom Life Church and members of community service. Be resolved that the Oakland Town Council and Town of Oakland follows, whereas the Kingdom Life Church is an organization within the town of Oakland. Whereas over the past years, Kingdom Life Church has worked tirelessly throughout the volunteerism, partnership, and various organizations within the town of Oakland. Whereas the town of whereas the Kingdom Life Church has become an important partner in Oakland's Oakfest community celebration. Many members of the church participate in the event and bring a new level of volunteerism to the children in the area. Whereas the Kingdom Life Church is an active member of Oakland business community. Whereas the Kingdom Life Church has developed many self-initiative programs to design and promote community spirit within the town of Oakland. This program has not only improved the looks, but has also added a quality of life to our community. I'd like to thank you from all our town council members. Thank you very much. If you ever want to give them a round of applause.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I got all kinds of pictures. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for all you do. We appreciate it.
Oh, guys, we love our community.
Yeah, I know.
And we're excited for the future.
We love having you guys.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I've been a great partner with everything you've been doing.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Ashley, for everything.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Buffalo Bills, what's that hat? You live in New England there, buddy.
Buffalo. Sorry.
That's right. No. We had season tickets up there. We went every weekend, all the way out to Buffalo.
Nice.
Wow.
So,
Born and raised.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
For those that don't know Mike Perkins, he's not afraid to drive a little.
just a few hours out. The next item is the Employee Commitment to Excellence Award.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
So for several years, gang, we've done the Commitment to Excellence Award. What we're so proud of is, and it's an employees award for the employees, given by the employees. And for the last several years, Gary, Jan, and myself have made up the committee. We give every employee an opportunity to make a submission to us on who they think it should be for this year. We take those submissions, we review them, and then make some decisions on it. This year, one person received multiple nominations from employees. And as we went through them, it became very apparent to us on where we wanted to go with this year's award. Now, unfortunately, the award is going to say May 2nd, or whatever the original date of town meeting was. That's normally when we give it, is right before town meeting. But I did just want to read a little something from a piece of one of the nominators' words they gave when they submitted to us. And this was so true. This really resonated with us, that in the past we've gone a certain way with this award. But for the time and knowing how much this person really does and doesn't receive any credit, we thought this was perfect. So I'm going to give it away now. It's actually the original Gary Bowman that's winning this award, not the secondary Gary Bowman. But just so there's no, confusion here. Gary can't give himself.
I thought I had received it, but unfortunately I was wrong.
But I wanted to read something that one of the nominations said that I thought was perfect. And we really do love this award because it strictly comes from where the employees want to take this award. This person said, Gary does not have the luxury of air-conditioned and heated cabs most of the time. He works out in the heat and cold every single day. Another thing this person said that resonated with us was, let's recognize someone that's not always in the spotlight, so to speak, and visible for everything he does. You guys that are up early in the morning knows that Gary gets a real early start. Those flags get up. Those, how many times we see Gary shoveling those walkways just to keep them open at the town office when there's a snowstorm. The glamorous goose issue jobs that come up from time to time. The weed whacking at 95 degrees. All real fun stuff that the general public doesn't get to see, that Gary does on a regular basis, receives no credit for it, wants no credit for it, just puts his pants on every single day and does his job. So we're very proud. This year's Commitment to Excellent Award is going to go to Gary Bowman. It says here, in recognition of your outstanding contributions to the people of Oakland and the performance of your duties and well beyond. Again, May 5th date, nothing we could do about that, but congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
All right.
You guys look at me. Gary, hold that plaque up for me.
The mask bandits.
Making a difference. This is a COVID meeting. The only thing I want to say, Gary, is thank you. You are by far the hardest working employee in the town of Oakland, and I have a lot of respect for that. So thank you very much for everything you do for the town and the taxpayers. Good job.
So gang, I'll leave you with this. The irony of this, let's recognize someone that's not always in the spotlight. Ironically, Gary will be in Ryan Susie's spotlight tomorrow for you guys to see. Thanks, guys.
Gary does a great job. Often I go by in the morning, well before AJ gets here. Sorry, AJ. 5:45 in the morning, Gary's already out there. You know, often I see him sometimes weed whacking in the summer, shoveling snow in the winter. So, I mean, 5:45 in the morning, he's out there working. So, Gary, awesome job. Thank you.
This was so easy for us this year, Mike, just for all those reasons.
Absolutely.
You know, not everyone is with the public all the time doing that part of the town's work. It takes people doing everything, and Gary just works.
Hands down. Good job, Gary.
We're proud of you, man.
Thank you, Gary.
And how
next one
did
is-
AJ get you here? You must have lied to you.
Next one is item number 4, that talks about PFAS situation.
Okay, we've had this discussion before. We're aware that they've done a lot of testing up around the transfer station. We have had one property that's tested hot. That's the Taylor property that sits right next to the transfer station. I believe you are all aware of that. I actually have a report that I provided to you, just handed out this tonight on your desk, and it explains how they correlated the property to the transfer station. So, based on all this, we're required to buy a water treatment system for the house. Unfortunately, we're a 90-10 split. The state covers 90% of it, the town covers 10% of it. The system has been ordered right now. The system's run about $3,000, so our part of that share is $300, and we have a fund that's set up for situations like this. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that we're purchasing the system, and that's something that we're going to have to maintain for a long time. And now the people who own the house actually don't drink their water anyways. They never have. They drink bottled water, so they're a little resistant of even having it put in there. But the state's.
Mr. Nutty?
I haven't read this yet, but after the $300 town share, is there an ongoing cost for filtration or whatever?
Yeah, what it is, we're going to buy a bunch of filters, and as far as maintenance, it's going to be a long-term, but it's always going to be 90-10. I mean, there's always going to be 10% of it's going to be town's share. I'm getting that paperwork together so that you can review that. I haven't had a chance to get it, but it's a perpetuity agreement that the town makes with that property. So, any questions on that?
No.
What about your test, Bob? Did they tell you what your tests were? Weren't they testing your house too?
Yeah, the only test that was positive was Taylor's across the street from me, and they're probably 300 feet from my well. Their well,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of surprised, but you never know about underground water where it's.
that
You have two
generates-
right side by each.
Right.
One is and one isn't.
I mean, I was concerned that it was actually being generated on their own property through the septic system or something like that, and this is why they ended up sending this to me, and it tied it all together. Because it's the same type of PFAS that we were leaching out of our system.
Okay. Next up is a discussion off of Heath Street, the one that's long.
We're scratching that for now.
Scratching it for now.
Yeah, that will be discussed at the next.
Next up, discussion on downtown TIF district.
Okay, I'm just kind of planting the seed at this point in time with our council. I would like to explore the possibility of developing a downtown TIF district. We have some interest in the bank block, and one of the interested parties are interested in a credit enhancement agreement. The other thing, what the TIF district would do for us, it would open us up to the possibility of facade grants like some of these other towns are doing. I just run some numbers. So let me back it up a little bit. If we go with a credit enhancement agreement, it's an enticement for somebody to generate something with that building. I mean, that's the bank block is probably the most significant building in downtown Oakland, and the condition that it's in right now, it's deteriorating at a rapid rate. I think it would be extremely smart for the town to provide some type of help to a future owner to try to salvage that. If we end up tipping or generating a district for the downtown area, say from the TD North Bank all the way to 58 Main Street, which is the hair salon that's on the corner of Center Street, and if we did that, that's going to go and generate about $52,985 a year that we can actually keep that money and use it for investments with economic development projects for downtown. That opens up a funding source for possibly buying land for additional parking down there. The facade grants is one thing. We're exploring the broadband upgrades, and that's going to take a commitment from the town, a financial commitment, so that allows us a funding source for something like that. I mentioned the credit enhancement agreements. Flowers. That's an economic development. I mean, at some point, we may be in a position where we have to hire help to go and do that as time marches on, so that could be a funding source for that. If we find that this is of interest, what I would like to do is set up a TIF committee and have them part of the business committee to be part of this, and they would help direct this. And, you know, our downtown is a gem. I mean, we've actually got one. And I think that that's the next horizon for us. It's the area that we should be looking at to invest in. It's going to be beneficial for our community. And this would be a viable source to go and help grow that and bring that along. I haven't done anything more than just kind of put some rough numbers together. One of the purchasers has expressed an interest in the credit enhancement agreement. So I did some research on that. And to really make that smooth, we should be looking at this. I mean, you can make a TIF district for just one building if you choose, and you can utilize property taxes that are coming in from that and use that to reinvest. But I think if we do this, we should at least look at a bigger scope and look at the possibility of what this could look like 5 or 10 years down the road. We're going to come out of this fog that we're in, and when we do, I think that we need to hit the ground running as quickly as possible because we've got a lot of catch-up to do. Prices, as far as getting something like this rolling, we hired Shauna Mueller for the TIF project out here when we extended it out to 30 years, and she was, I think, $2,600 to extend that. I think where we're doing a brand new district, you're probably going to look at about twice that cost. But I just wanted to open it up for discussion, and if you'd like to hear anything more about it, or if you would allow me to investigate it deeper to see if this is something that is viable, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Don?
Could you just briefly run through with all of us how, we set it up, but then what actually happens to the tax dollars? Where do they go? Where do they come from?
Right.
So that we have, again, a little introduction to where it takes us.
So tax increment financing, what we do with that is we capture the property taxes. So you've got $3.2 million worth of real estate. that we'd be talking about. And the taxes are $52,900 for that chunk of change. And what we would do is that money could only be used for whatever the DECD designates it to. And it's most always used for economic development. So we would basically put it in a savings account. Every year when the taxes come in, it would go into that savings account. And our TIF committee would help designate where we're going to spend it and make recommendations to the council where we're going to move forward with it. Now, we don't have to have all of this real estate. We can cut this down. We can do one side of the street and get half of that, or however we want to work through it. So it would be a separate pool of money. It wouldn't go into the operating expenses of the town of Oakland like our taxes typically do. It would be designated for a specific cause, and that would be the development of our downtown.
And not that necessarily a negative, but rather than going to the general fund for the budget, it will be held outside of it.
That's correct.
Negative is you've got to come up with the money somewhere else. Positive
Right.
part of it is
Right.
also helps you with school valuation and the tax
You're right.
structure.
I mean, you get the benefit of that. And the other thing is we got a lot of commercial development going on in the town of Oakland. So now might be a good time to do that, because what we pull out of the tax pool is actually being replaced by newer. I mean, we've got the FW Web building. We've got 3 solar array projects coming into town. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening with the new ice cream store that's coming in that will help offset what we'd be losing. And like I said, we don't have to utilize the whole $3.2 million. We can sit down as a group and say, okay, this is the amount of money that we should be looking at. This is the development, the district that we should, we can shorten it up. We can make it one side of the street. We can make it the whole downtown area. Dave.
Would it also not be true that if somebody develops a piece of that land or invests a ton of money into that bank block, that the property value actually increases, so the taxes will increase and we actually start getting more money out of that?
Well,
at least it would pick up the difference.
Right. Are you familiar with the credit enhancement agreement? So that just for those who might not be, what that does is